Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and for this week I'm going to be telling you guys about the 5 basic modeling poses that you can do so that you will look more editorial and your shoot can look more professional as well. These are the tips and tricks that I've learned since I started modeling, and I hope these help you guys as well.
1, 2, 3, funk it.
So basically, I started modeling since I was 17, and I've been doing this for 3 years now. And when I started, I didn't really know much, to be honest. I was just went in very blindly. I mean, I do know how to pose, of course, but how to work with the angle, how to work with the camera, how to work with the lighting and the environment. That was a bit of a learning curve that everyone has to go through, I think. And I mean, when I started, it was just because I was tall, to be honest. There was no other thing. My friend he just started getting into portrait photography, and he thinks a friend of my other friend who knew him as well hooked us up together, and they were just like, okay, you don't look so bad in front of the camera, so why do you want to try it? And I was kind of excited to try for it, and it wasn't very professionally for me at first. I would do it just for fun. After doing one gig after another, I just realized that I really love this job, and it's become somewhat more than a hobby for me. So I've learned a lot of tricks from working with the makeup artist, or working with the lighting, or working with photographers, and from all over the world with different backgrounds, and there are a lot of learning that you can do. So pose number 1 that I would usually do is to have my body tilted. So by appearing with your body not very towards the camera, you don't look so flat in forms of the environment and the background as well. So by having your tilting your body maybe towards the camera or away from the camera, depending on the angle and depending on your body type, it makes yourself look more dynamic and makes yourself look more pops out of the background as well. So I usually do these depending on the angles that they're shooting from. So if they're shooting from a high angle, then I would try to make my body appear more bigger, as my body type is kind of small and slender a little bit. So I would make myself appear more bigger by extending my hands out or arms out, or making my a very wide leg stance. And then if they're shooting from a low angle, then I want to look a little bit more taller than I would usually, so I would extend my leg out a bit more and make myself look more taller. And if they're shooting from a normal angle, then I would just try to tilt my body and show off my figure more so that it looks more dynamic in the photo. And what you can usually do as well is that when you're doing these kind of shoots, you can also make use of the environment. If there's a wall, maybe lean on the wall, or if there's a chair, you can sit very badass mode in, and be more creative with it, instead of just using your body and using yourself. So use more props, and if you're outdoor, use more outside of the environment as well. Pose number 2 that I would usually do is to include my hands in the photo as well. I know it sounds a little bit what? It sounds weird, but for me, it's after a while that you do 2-3 shots of your face and you give in the pose, and whether you're fierce or you're depending on your mode, after a while, if it is just your face, I feel it's kind of boring for the photographer when he's doing his work later, when you're editing and stuff. So I try to give more more poses to it. So I would usually use my hands and try to make the frame as well. Well, not like this. I would include this, just touch your hand so that you're giving more dynamic towards your face, and you're attracting your facial expression towards the camera as well. So you're giving yourself a frame, and just be creative with it and be fun with it, and don't be shy with using your hands. When I first started, I was kind of weirded out as well, but now I would just touch my body with my hands, and it just really looked pretty amazing. And I learned this trick from a model called Georgia. I don't know her, I don't remember her last name. I'm really bad with names, but Georgia, and she's a Japanese Australian model, and the way she would use her hands on her body, it was so eccentric for me that I was oh my god, I want to try it out. So now I cannot live without it. I'm just I just keep touching myself. Pose number 3 that I would usually do is include my hands as well, but this time I would just rather be touching my hair. So like if my hair is out, like I tied it today, so but like I would just use my hand inside my hair so that it gives more volume as well, because usually my hair is flat if it's just a normal version like this. So I would just use it to give myself more volume and try to be like more like fierce look. So I would just have my hand on the temple of my head and just be like it gives you a fox eye, like it gives you an instant facelift as well. How cool is that? Just saying. So I would just be like, you know, include my hands in the trick and then just be like really like touch my hair and be like give more volume to it so that I look more like very put together, and like if 10 makeup artists were like working on me. So that's what I really like to do as well, and I feel like that is very badass, and I feel like that's very Instagram as well. Another pose that I do is also crossing my arms. So crossing my arms doesn't like really mean like, you know, like crossing your arms like this, but like it depends on the body structure that you're in, and also it depends on like what pose that you're doing as well. So but I try to include my arms in the posing that I do. So if I'm like sitting down, I would have my arms somewhere around me so that it would give more dynamic, and if I'm sitting down I would be using my arms in it as well so that it gives me more framework and more structure as well that I could really work with. And it really depends on the like location that you're in and like the mood that you're in as well. Like if you're happy, you cannot really be like crossing your arms and be more like badass. So I really like to use this when I'm like very editorial look. And I think the last pose is apply for like not just for photo shoot but for every photo that you take. So when I take photos, I never really am facing forward unless I'm like, you know, taking like how do they call those, like group photos and stuff like that. Like I would just usually, when I'm like taking photos, depending on the angle, like angle really matters of course, but what I would usually do is I would just face it like 1/3 of the way and then just be like tilt my head a little bit so that they see the jawline. Like I feel like jawline is very eccentric for me, so it's just like it gives me more framework and it gives me like more badass look. Since I was just like facing forward, you just face like 1/3 and it gives you a whole new different level. So like you just work with your angles and be like more like, you know, fierce look. So you're just looking into the camera but like look more badass. On top of these 5 poses, the one thing that you should be doing is to communicate together with your photographer as well. Because if you're just starting out and you don't really know what you're doing, I've learned a lot through talking together with the photographers, like what we want to achieve together. And just don't be shy and tell them like, oh, I'm really new at this, so could you like, you know, give me some pointers, and then they would be happy to help out. And you know, there are a lot of creators out there who are like doing a lot of good photos, so you can just search up your inspiration and try to work together, and you know, just pose in front of the mirror and just practice, and by the time you'll be like slaying all those pics no matter what. That's the end of my video, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I am still learning from it though, so I hope you guys learned something from me as well, and I hope you guys really enjoy it because I had a lot of fun making it. And if you want to know more like modeling tips and tricks, you guys can leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer to you guys. Thank you so much and stay safe!